Welcome to House Culture Conversations, October 5th. How about that? The year is moving along. But hey, tonight is special. I get a chance to hang out with DJ Scooter B. DJ Scooter B, what's good?
What's good, D? How you feeling, man?
Hey, I'm doing really well. I'm getting myself set up here on Twitch so I can see all the comments coming in from there. And, folks will be coming in from YouTube and Facebook, wherever they're going to find us. But, we're recovering from this hurricane out here in Florida. And, as
Yeah.
went all up through Georgia and the Carolinas, really tough. So we're just getting back on our feet a little bit. You got any folks out this way?
I don't. I don't. Well, I have people. I know some people, but
Mm-hmm.
no, I don't have any relatives.
Yeah. I mean, and I know a lot of people see the pictures out here. Nikki Divine sliding on in.
Hey,
How
partner.
you? Yes. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. We are just talking a little bit before we get started about the recovery down here in the southeast after Hurricane Helene. And the water that just came down on the Carolinas is just I mean, man, it just takes your breath away.
Wow,
really
yeah.
feel for a lot of those people out there. Now, for me, I was in Tampa, but I was kind of on the east side, moving. So I didn't lose power, and my Wi-Fi went out for 7 minutes. So
Oh,
I was
wow.
inconvenienced briefly.
You
And
panicked.
so that's it. So, God is good. Breeze DBL, thanks for sliding on in here.
What
We're just
happened,
getting
Breeze?
situated. Appreciate you so much. But yeah, so I was good. But so many of the people, around us and closest to us have really seen some, terrible, terrible weather. So, around Tampa, if you think about the Bay, what happens is that surge comes and it just pushes all that water in,
Yeah.
and then things like boats and all kinds of things and large fish,
Right.
sharks and
Right.
the
Right.
like end up in people's front yards, because once
That's
that water
crazy.
just gets pulled right back out, all that stuff is just laying right
That's
in the street and
nuts.
in front yards. It's just an incredible sight to see, and it takes so much for people to get back on their feet. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. Welcome to House Culture Conversations.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
are hanging out with DJ Scooter B tonight, and DJ Scooter B, I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna take my time. I have just been a fan and had a chance to meet you a couple of weeks ago in Peoria.
Yeah.
And man, just a beautiful soul, a beautiful spirit.
Thank you, man.
And I just was like, man, I like this brother. And so I'm glad I got a chance to meet you in person, but now I get to learn a little bit more about you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just living life,
Yes,
trying to
yes.
enjoy it, trying to stay in this thing we called the culture of house. I'm just trying to make my mark. Well, I'm not even trying to make my mark. I've done what I've done with it. So it's just, I'm just trying to, I enjoy it. I love it. Here we are, man.
That's it. Well, tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, where you grew up, that thing.
Me, Garry Bass, aka DJ Scooter B. I'm from the south side of Chicago, born and raised in 91st and Wentworth, Princeton Park.
Okay.
Yeah,
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 what?
yeah. That's where I found love. This thing called music, DJing actually. Went to Julian High School, um, started doing this thing in the 8th grade. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I found, man. But yeah, music has been in my family for forever. My grandfather, he was a jazz pianist.
Mm.
He's actually in the Hall of Fame in Iowa.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
Spec Red. Look him up. Google him. Spec Red. My brother, he produces. Um, my father was just. If you saw my record collection, and it's crazy because my father just collected jazz and all that stuff. I mean, he had mountains, and stacks of records, And I come to find out that I got the same thing going on over here, man. It's nuts. It's nuts. So I mean, my brother and I didn't realize what we had back in the day. We used to have record fights with his records, man, just throwing them across the room. But that's blasphemy. But anyway, but yeah, been in this thing since '83.
Okay.
You know, went to Southern University in Baton Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, marching band. I'm play music. I've been playing drums. My brother played bass, and he got his bass. I wanted drums, and I got turntables.
So, hey, well, you're listening to House Culture Conversations. We are just getting started. Please don't hesitate to jump in the chat, show love, ask a question, or just throw whatever you want to let people know you're feeling it. I've so far, Scooter, I asked so many questions on what you already said.
Mm-hmm.
So, DJ Wish from the UK, welcome in. And everybody, next week, you're in for a treat. House Culture Conversation goes across the pond, and we're going to hang out with some folks over there. So that's going to be a special edition next week. But back to the matter at hand. You said you were in the marching band?
Yes. I played snare at Julian.
Okay, snare at Julian. So I went to Mendel.
Yes.
In the marching band.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and I had a scholarship to Southern Baton Rouge, SU, and was in a band there. I was in a Human Jukebox.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my goodness. I was going to go to Bethune-Cookman on a scholarship, and got talked out of that, and ended up staying, here in Illinois, staying in Illinois, going to Illinois State.
Yeah.
Yes, and got away from music, but I kept, DJing at the time.
Yeah,
now
yeah,
you
absolutely.
started when you were in 8th grade. What kind of equipment were you using in 8th
Listen,
grade?
So I used to go over my friend's house. My friend was my friend's uncle. We were both all friends, but we went over his. This is how it started. We went over his crib. He had the Technique 100s, and I didn't know anything about. I mean, he went down in this basement after school one day, and he had these, the 100s, the mixer, and all these records. So I'm like, wow. So he's playing music, and I see him manipulating something over here. Didn't know what he was doing, but I'm just hearing this song and the transition. He brought the other song in. It just blew my mind. I'm like, whoa. I stood up and stood over him. Like, yo, what's really going on? And I fell in love with the art then. So my first turntables were Pioneers with no pitch. So I started out playing with no pitch. So
that was tough.
Yeah. Well, then you had to know the BPMs back then. So that and pinching the middle, trying to speed it up, slow it down, and all the back spinning. But yeah, I started out with those with no pitch. And actually, before all that started out, Paul's mixing. I know you remember that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we
you didn't have to worry about the BPMs that much.
No, you didn't know. You just editing, just straight editing.
So media, how are you? Thanks for vibing with us on House Culture Conversations.
Hey.
So, okay, you started in 8th grade. Did you DJ at Julian?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Yeah, I DJ'd. Quite a bit all through high school, all through college. Summer party. Oh, one of the biggest parties. We had a party. I don't know if you remember the Beverly House on Hummingbird.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, a huge party over there. The Hummingbird, all that stuff. Yeah. I was playing back then.
Absolutely. Now you were, I guess, were you playing house music then? Because I read a little bit about your bio, and you also have a love for hip hop as well.
So, okay, how that goes. I started out in house with house music. When in '83 when BMX, for me, Farley and all in the Hotmix 5, they were playing. It wasn't really a genre then. They were just playing music. And I got into the track stuff and all that stuff. So yeah, I started out playing house. So it wasn't until later in I caught it was like one of my guys who I used to DJ with, he was on the radio, Doc Love. He used to be on the radio in Milwaukee. He started out in St. Louis. He had a Magic 108, and then he moved to Milwaukee, and he was starting a mix show, and he pulled some of his people back. He's trying to start a mix show, and those people. And he actually had an advertisement for we're looking for DJs, and so he's like, look, these guys don't want to play, man. Hey, come on out here. And I used to do parties and send mixes to him. So he's like, I'm starting up a mix show, and it was called the Fat Four Mix Show on 107 point, so whatever it is. V100 was the station.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And that was hip hop. It's hip hop and R&B. So before I knew it, he gave me a list of record labels. Hey, reach out to them, let them know you're on this station, Clear Channel. And we built relationships with the record labels, and hip hop was coming left and right. And so I started. That's how that happened.
And so, how did you kind of balance that? Did you kind of put house to the side for a little while?
I did.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I let house go. It was deep within me, and it wasn't until I realized that mix show was work, because it wasn't. I'm figuring I'm about to get down and just play, but there's a method to the madness, because you have to, okay, you can't play. You got the record labels. I need spins on this song. I need you to play this. You got the radio station with, we got a playlist. You can only play this, because they're looking for numbers. They're basically looking for numbers. So they want to keep their listeners. And if they don't hear anything familiar, they're going to change the station. So you got this playlist to go to. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you're being pulled on both ways. So it's like, yeah, I had to squeeze. That's when I learned about sandwiching songs. You had to squeeze the new joints in between. I'm like, man, it's mixed show. So we're showcasing new joints. Well, I'm supposed to be breaking music. And there was some garbage being displayed. But
how did you make your way back to house? Was that you left that and then you how'd you come back?
So love for house, that was number one. I wanted to come back. So they actually canceled the show after so long. This was so many years, about 4 years running. And I'm like, cool, I can get back into what I love to do, because I haven't played. I put a house mix together in between all that, because I was working. And Mickey Calvin, my brother, he was on Pressure Radio, based out the UK. And I did a mix, and he had a show on there. And he was like, man, I'm going to play your mix on my show. I'm like, cool. And they loved it. They loved the mix, and it was like, man, they wanted me to be a part of Pressure Radio. And so I had to apply for Pressure, and that's how Pressure Radio became, a thing.
That is some story. And when you said you started doing you left house, I was like, how could you?
Right. Well, you know what? House was taking a turn, because the hip house and then all that. So it was different things happening.
Yeah, there was that period of house where there was some things.
They were kind of confused.
Hey, thanks for vibing with us on House Culture Conversation, Mrs. DJ Charles Horton. How are you? Thanks for vibing with us.
What up, Mr. Horton?
You got the family in the building. Once again, do not hesitate to drop a question in the chat, and we will do our best to get to your question. But if you're just enjoying the family in the chat, do that as well. Eva House Music, happy Saturday to you. Welcome on in. We are enjoying a good time with DJ Scooter B. So what is it about house? You say you came back and you love house. It's your first love. You're back in the house. What is it about house that it's just continuing to thrive and sustain more than 40 years later? But more importantly, in my opinion, it's still our music. You can still feel the underground in house.
It's a feeling with house music, and it's just like church music. You catch the Holy Ghost, and it would take your soul. You would be in a vibe. You see people gone, and house is a feeling. That's bottom line. House is a feeling. It's a straight vibe. So me coming back to it is one. That's where I start. It's where it all started, and then once I ventured out into I can do this now and I can do that. Okay, so let's go back to what I know. And when they canceled the show again, before even Pressure Radio, you familiar with Music Choice, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so I was on a conference call with the core DJs. I'm a part of the core DJs worldwide, and we were on the phone with Music Choice. And they were starting the new channel at the time. It was called Mix Show, I think, or something like that. And they were looking for DJs. And this was right after they canceled the show in Milwaukee. So I'm like, ooh, I can play my house. So they were looking for DJs, and they were like, call us or whatever if you want to. So I asked, I said, well, will you do house music? They're like, sure. Well, so I sent them the mix, and it's crazy because I got the call when I sent them the mix, and they were like, man, people have been walking past my office like, who is that? What is that? And they were loving the mix. So they started loving. I was the only one playing house on that channel. And then it got to a point where they offered me a position. I was house coordinator for Mixed Music Choice.
Wow.
Yeah. But to answer your question, to what made me come back, it was just the love of house. It's just that feeling, that vibe, and it's where I started.
Yeah, I mean, and we felt that, right? That house music, you could feel it all through you. It's that pulse, that four on the floor, it's that beat.
Man.
It's the vibes, the chords. It's all of that. Charles Horton, thanks for vibing with us. House Culture Conversation. It's good to see you, brother. And
one brother.
Yeah. So, what are a couple of your favorite house stories?
Stories?
Mm-hmm. Now that could be you played with somebody. It could be, it was a wild night out, or you snuck into a club, or you broke out or something. You name it.
My favorite house stories are just when I started checking out Frankie Knuckles at the House of Blues.
Mm.
When he started playing at the House of Blues, because he used to do it every Thanksgiving and every what was that other time he used to do it? It was I forget when it was, but it was twice a year he would do the House of Blues, and it was just nothing stopped. I think it was Christmas. I forgot. It was something, but just going to those parties was everything. Was everything to me. So it was just, man, it's Frankie, But here's the thing. And this might be another topic, but
hey, pivot, go where you will.
this is where people get into the DJ. They're into what's playing, they're into who's playing instead of what's playing.
Mm.
And for me, I'm like, it's Frankie Knuckles. I'm on the floor, I'm going. And before I knew it, I'm like, I don't even like this song. And I had to stop and catch myself. I'm like, okay. And that's a problem today because everybody gets into who's playing instead of what's playing. There's a lot of cold DJs out here, and they just sit there with the
You
stone face.
speaking on some things right there. Divine One Enterprises, welcome on in.
My family.
Family in the building, strong. Appreciate you so much for hanging out with us on House Culture Conversations. Well, talk to me more about this. What's playing versus who's playing. There's a comment Mrs. DJ Charles Horton made in the comments that says, because of your blends, some of your success, your big success, and I think your shirt is backing that up.
So I pride myself on blends. I learned on blending. The guy that taught me, his name was Ron Robinson. Back in the day, we had that middle thing going on. Ron Rockin' Robinson. He goes now by YG Muhammad, and I was Garry Get Down Bass before them. So, but I pride myself on blending, and blends matter. It matters. It so matters. I came up with that actually during the pandemic. They were going through the Black Lives Matters, and I was with my Vortex family actually, and we were sitting there, and we were just talking, throwing out stuff, and we were talking about the pandemic, and they were like, Black Lives Matter. I'm like, hell, blends matter. And Alicia looked at me like, she put that on a shirt. I'm like, I should have said that. So, but yeah, I'm heavy. I'm big on blends. I'm big on blends matter, and this has been a staple. Man, day one.
Yes, yeah. I couldn't agree more. I mean, some of the other technical aspects of DJing, scratching, and some of the other things, and dropping out stuff and moving stuff around, and some of the automation you can do now is absolutely insane.
Yeah,
but nothing like a blend.
Nothing like a blend. You can't take so with the technology now. We used to flange. We used to do that. That was 2 records.
That's it. 2 records.
Now they're pushing buttons to flange, to double, to do a double. You got a delay that you can do a double. We were doing that. We were setting a record. So blending, you can't. What are you gonna do? Sync? That's a no. But I guess whatever works for you.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, it has enabled a lot of people to get in the game, right? Because it simplified it so many people can get in and DJ. What are your thoughts about that? Hey, it's just so you know, you need to get a copyright on that shirt. The chat, they're saying, hey, he needs to get copyright on that, and several people want one, including me. So make sure we let these people know how they get a hold of one of these t-shirts.
Well, you can catch me. You can email me, djscooterb1@gmail.com. Catch me on Facebook, Garry Bass, or my DJ Scooter B page. You got Instagram, Garry Bass, aka DJ Scooter B. All the ways to get in touch with me. What was your question?
We kind of pivoted because we were just talking about the shirt, and making sure that you know that people are all about it and want to support you. One, but they all about that blends matter because everyone loves a great blend, and when they hear a jam come in on the wings of another tune, the crowd just goes crazy.
It just does.
I was going to ask you, the technology has made it so accessible for so many people. I run into so many people. I just started last week.
Right.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a year. I've been doing this. What are your thoughts about that?
I love, first of all, I love where it's gone, where everybody's a DJ now. They come a dime a dozen now. That's cool. My thing is respect it. Respect it to the point, okay, you're playing on a controller. I'm not a controllers guy because of where I come from. And yourself, you've gone through the hard time. You paid your dues with it. You played on some belt-driven
Yeah.
turntables.
Oh
You'll
yeah.
lose them with that, won't you?
Oh yeah.
So even rotary knobs, people are intimidated by rotary knobs.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get out your comfort zone. Just learn it. When I teach people how to play, I teach them on vinyl because I have a student now that I asked her, why do you want to do this? And she got me. She's like, I just love the transition. This is a young girl. She's about 16, maybe. I just
Mm-hmm.
love the transition. And when she said that, I was just like, oh, let's get you started. That answer alone had me. So I started her out on just cueing alone on vinyl. And then I showed her how you just cue on a CDJ. And
Mm-hmm.
she saw the difference. And you reading a wave opposed to reading a groove in a vinyl.
Yeah, yeah, and you can't see a thing.
You can't see a
Yeah,
thing.
it's
So the
all
whole
yeah.
thing is based on it's got nothing to do with your eyes.
That's
Listening.
it.
It's
That's it.
all in your
And
ears.
now that you talk about it, right, it takes me back. And that's what one thing I do love about vinyl. It keeps you connected to your history
Absolutely.
because that's why the crate had to be organized from 110 to one whatever 30 40 however many bpms because you started at the front of the crate and you slowly work to the back
Right.
because today you can just take if it's 117 and 139 you can
Right.
just put them together and
Right.
they'll match up.
You
You
can
couldn't do
master.
that back in those days on vinyl because it just wouldn't match up. You'd have a hell
Right.
of a time trying to pull off that kind of blend. So you
Right.
had to blend BPMs that were in the same neighborhood,
Right. You
move
have to
it
know the
slowly up
BPM.
to the BPM so later that night it was hot.
Right.
So that's a
Right.
good point. Good point. Ear. That's it. Nikki Devine said, yep, it's all about that ear.
Absolutely. Hey,
Mhm.
Baka.
Now I'm seeing all kind of things in the chat, DJ Scooter B. I'm seeing pound cakes and we got to go there. What's the story on the pound cakes?
Here's the commercial. With the commercial break. No, so I started doing these pound cakes, man. I started it at work. My ex-wife did a pound cake one day, and I'm like, damn, that's good. That's really good. I said, make them on and let me take it to work and see if they'll buy it. So she made the cake. I chopped it up, bagged it like it was dope, took it to work, gave it to them. Just, man, would you buy it? And they were like, yeah. So I put a price on it. So I started selling cakes at work. So then Monday became Monday and Wednesday. Monday and Wednesday became Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then it was just going on and on. So one night I came home from work. Well, I was out late. That's what it was. I was out late. I came home. I'm like, I need a cake because they would meet me at the time clock. That's why I started. I know you heard the term crack. They call it crack because I started calling it warehouse crack. Somebody met me by the time clock, rubbing their arms like, "Hey, you got cake?" So I started calling it warehouse crack. And yeah, she wouldn't make it, and I'm like, "Tell me what to do." She told me what to do, and so the nights that she wouldn't make it, I would make it. I knew what to do, and after we split, I started it, and then I expanded with it, and I've been in the house community with it, and it's crazy. It's crazy. There's one in the oven right now.
Well, everyone that has had an opportunity, I'm seeing everything from crack cake to dope man, cake man. So this has got to be some kind of
Let's
cake.
be clear. It's all butter, sugar, and all that. Ain't no, we
It's
ain't got none
all
of
the
that
good
other.
stuff.
It's
It
all
is
natural.
all the good stuff. Now, now I fast forwarded, but I got to rewind. I got to rewind. Got to turn that record back a little bit. I want to talk about you. Started out doing some edits in the early days.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I started, before I even started DJing, my brother taught me how to pause mix because he used to be in, you heard of Jack and Jill, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So my brother was in, well, we were in Jack and Jill coming up, and Jesse Saunders was in there too, and he was in his group.
Mm.
And so they used to have battles. And my brother taught me how to do the pause mix. I'm like, okay, and started doing edits and stuff like that. So before the DJ, the turntable, it was the edit. So I used to just, edit the hot mix file, those shows and songs, and put 2 tape decks together, and I used to do that.
Now, are you doing any production today?
I actually have a track on Bandcamp. I did a remix of Phil Collins' "Take Me Home."
Okay.
That's on Bandcamp. So check that out.
Now, is that under DJ Scooter B?
DJ Scooter B.
Okay, we'll be on the lookout for that. Run and get it. Yeah,
I never wanted to put it out. I never wanted to put it out because production is production and mashups are mashups. And it's more of I call it a mashup. It's got some production in it, but it's people put stuff out and it's just straight bleed. You know what I'm saying?
Just call it like it is, huh?
And it takes away, for me, the integrity of a track if you're using somebody else's beat and in their song. And so I never wanted to put it out. I should have, but I got pushed to put it out.
Yeah, no, I feel you. John Davis Jr., how we doing?
JD.
Money 19, welcome in. Thanks for
Money Love. That's my DV1 fam. My DV1 fam is showing up.
DV1. So hey, I was just going to bring up streaming because that's been a big part. Since we've come out of COVID, and when we went in, streaming became a big deal. Although I know people have been streaming for a long time.
Yeah,
but it's really exploded, and this Twitch thing has been something incredible.
Yeah.
What's your perspective on that?
I think it's a very good thing. It's a very good platform for DJs that don't get a chance to shine. You got the opportunity to do and show your talents within, your own home, where these basement DJs were just, their talents were hidden. And they weren't able to play unless you knew somebody or just got out there. You just that cold and people listen to you. You're like, man, and they put you on. But the streaming is a huge platform for these guys, and it worked out for everybody during the pandemic because people couldn't do parties,
right?
And so you couldn't get out, but you could still project your talents from home. So, yeah.
It's been good. Hey, Ray Big Roadie, welcome on in. Thanks for vibing with
Big Roadie.
Big Roadie.
Dope set yesterday on the favorite F word.
Making sure I caught everybody. I think I got everybody. And we just appreciate you so much for stopping through on House Culture Conversations. So now where are you? I noticed you got a lot of things going on. So tell us where you're playing, where folks can catch you. And so we know about the band camp, and we know about the cakes. I'm assuming we got to reach out to you online as well, find you, and we'll get a hold of that crack cake.
Right, that I Mix Pound Cake. That's the name of the company I'm starting. I Mix Pound Cakes, playing words with the DJ thing. So I took a break over the summer. No plan. Everybody wanted to get out. I did too. So I didn't play at all. I did no playing. So, and it's funny that you mentioned that because tomorrow, Mixology Sundays, every Sunday, I start back my show on Twitch, DJ Scooter B1. So if you want to check me out there, DJ Scooter B1 on Twitch. My show starts from 6 to 8 p.m. every Sunday. And I also do a show with my DV1 sister, my partner, Tantalizing Tuesdays. And that's on Divine One Enterprises on Twitch.
Now, how did that come about? You and Nikki Divine, and you guys are magical when you get to putting that music together. How'd that come about?
That's crazy. So I used to play when I was doing all the stuff on the radio, and when I was doing stuff on Music Choice, and then Pressure, all that. And so I had to get myself established locally because I was known. I had followers overseas. I had, everywhere else, but home. Who knew School? The name was bigger than me. And I started playing I met my guy Fozzie introduced me to Solo. My guy DJ Kevin Solo. He was doing these parties. And so he started doing shows at his crib. Nikki, they were doing the Divine One radio show from via his crib one day, and I was guest DJing. And Nikki liked the way I played, and she couldn't get my name right back then. She was Scooty B. He's all on the mics, DJ Scooty B. So that's a running thing right now. And so Divine One had a night at Leo's Den, 9 years running, heavy. I mean, it was a big thing. And everybody had a night except Nikki. And so she invited me to play with her. And we couldn't think of a name for nothing. We had, what were our nights? We had Merlot and Chardonnay. And because we drank wine back then. I used to drink wine. So that's what you hear her saying, my partner in wine and all things divine. We used to drink some wine. And whatever the case, we had a night, that was our night, every third Friday or whatever. And so when the Twitch thing started, we were already partners doing our thing. So we started up, she wanted to do Tantalizing Tuesday. And it became a thing.
Tito's and Tunes.
Tito's and Tunes. That's what it was. Yes, because I drank some Tito's too.
She got Merlot and me.
Merlot and
I got it all covered.
Yeah, Tito's and Tunes. That's sure. Yes,
Q
sir.
Lewis 50. Welcome on in. Thanks for vibing with us. Q Lewis 50. Happy Saturday. Listen, I'm gonna ask you one more question about house music. Well, no, I gotta ask you two questions. I know not to ask because the bio said don't ask, but I gotta ask. Where did the name Scooter B come from?
Oh my God, that's the question they should have asked you not to ask.
And you are reserved. Hey, reserve a right to answer it in the future or never answer it.
So I'll tell this story. So I wore glasses. I wear glasses, and back in the day, glasses. We paid dues wearing glasses as kids, man. You had to. If you wore glasses, you had to learn how to fight. So, but one of my good friends and one of my girls, in 7th or 8th or whatever it was. Hey y'all, cruel kids can be cruel. Hey y'all, don't you look like Scooter from the Muppets?
Oh, they hit you with the Scooter.
Oh man. And it was like, wow, really? And it stuck. I'm like, Scooter. Because at that time I was looking for a nickname. I didn't like Garry. I didn't like Garry. Mm-hmm. I told my mother, stop calling me Garry. My name is Scooter, But and yeah, from there it just stuck because it went from Garry get down to Scooter B.
Well, hey, I tell you what, it's actually cool to say. I don't know if everybody in the chat agrees, but I mean, when I introduced you, I was like Scooter B. The man himself is in the building, so that's hot. So you had to send her a T-shirt and some.
I know, right? I saw her one day and she didn't realize. She said, I did give you that name, huh? Like, yeah. Cruel way to get it, but I got it. Here we are.
So I've got one more question for you as we get ready to wrap up, and we're gonna find some place to go party. where do you see house going? I mean, you've been around for decades, right? This has been a, I always say in many ways when I was a teenager, it saved my life from being in so much other stuff that I could have been involved in. But as we look at it today and moving forward, where do you see house going?
I see it evolving still because I mean, you got to think of over the years from when we come from because when you started in what 83,
80, yeah, about 83, 82, 83, yep.
and there's been a change in house music, and to add to that story or to that question, just like going back to when I said that I went to see Frankie Knuckles at House of Blues, Frankie started playing new music, and people were disappointed because they were so used to disco and all the old stuff. They were like, "Ah, Frankie, man, he's playing that new stuff." And house is evolving, and that's what he said, and that's what he did. He was playing the newer stuff. The new stuff was old. I mean, the old stuff was new when we played it.
Right.
So it's just going to keep evolving. It's just going to keep, a lot is spread it. You see all the different genres of house music.
Yeah.
You get that's what mixology is. That's what my show is. Mixology is disco, it's Afro, it's underground, it's soulful, it's and that's all these are branches of house, and that's where it's going. It ain't going nowhere.
Well, hey, I can't thank you enough for spilling the tea and hanging out and just being just such a good time. Everybody in the chat, we're gonna head over to DJ Tila, hang out with her for a minute, and vibe out with her and party on. So you guys sit tight. If you are on Twitch, that's where we're going. If you are on Facebook or YouTube, we will catch you next time. And again, show up next week. We're going across the pond with DJ Wisp and DJ Peach. So that's going to be on the other side of the world, and we're going to be talking about house music. Hey, everybody tell DJ Tila I said hello. I'm going to hang out there for a little while. DJ Scooter B, hey, better check on that cake.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you, man.
You bet. Hold on one second. We're going to get everybody over there to the party.